ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति, शान्तिः। We'll chant a few verses.
भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते सम्प्राप्ते सन्निहिते काले नहि रक्षति दुष्कृन्करणे मूढजहि धनागमतृष्णा कुरु सद्बुद्धिं मनसि वितृष्णा यल्लभसे निजकर्मोपात्तं वित्तं तेन विनोदय चित्तम् नारीस्तनभरनाभिदेशं दृष्ट्वा मागामोहावेशम् ये तन्मांसवसादिविकारं मनसि विचिन्तय वारं वारम् नलिनीदलगतजलमतितरलं तद्वज्जीवितमतिशयचपलम् विद्धि व्याध्यभिमानग्रस्तं लोकं शोकहतं च समस्तम् यावद्वित्तोपार्जनसक्तः तावन्निज परिवारो रक्तः पश्चाजीवति जज्जरतेः वार्तां कोऽपि न पृच्छति गेहे
The two motivations of life: acquisition and enjoyment. The thirst for acquisition and enjoyment, replace it with the thirst for the divine, is the advice. So there is the constant thirst for acquisition and enjoyment. So the advice that he is giving in Bhaja Govindam is, keep the thirst but change the object. Don't get rid of the thirst. Replace the object. What is the object that the human being is craving for? Acquisition and enjoyment. Instead of craving for acquisition and enjoyment, shift it to the reality, is the message. For which all of us will have a problem. With this advice, all of us will have a problem. The problem that we will have with this kind of advice is what? If wealth is not there, if possessions are not to be acquired, then how are we to live? We will not ask how are we to be happy. We make the question more fundamental. We will bring it as the question of life and death, survival. We will make it now. We will make it. We will not make it a question of happiness anymore. We will make it a question of life and death, survival itself. So the question that everybody asks is what? If wealth is not to be courted, if objects and possessions is not to be acquired and all that, how are we to live? How are we to live? In that, there is the implication. What is it? I cannot live without it. When you say, how are we to live? It's not a question of how. In the question, how are we to live, you make a declaration. What is the declaration that you make? I cannot live without it. Since I cannot live without it, the advice that Bhaja Govindam is giving doesn't work at all. Doesn't work at all. Then what are we trying? That is where, sir, middle path, somewhere we will balance between the two, no? Somewhere we will balance between the two. So we'll have the thoughts of reality also, and also we'll have thoughts of the world also, and we balance between the two. So one category says it cannot be. One category says Bhaja Govindam is not practical. One or two in a generation will say, I will explore this. We belong to the third category. What is the third category? We try to balance both. How do you handle this? Creating wealth, acquiring wealth versus knowing how to live life. Again, creating wealth, acquiring wealth versus knowing how to live life. If creating wealth and acquisitions and possession itself is going to give a quality of life that the human being is seeking, we all should be contented and peaceful and secure already, because we all have reasonably enough of that. May not be in the way that we are hallucinating about, but the very reasonable thing that we have itself doesn't provide us with any sense of the satisfaction or the security that I think wealth is going to give. Therefore, acquiring wealth, creating wealth, acquiring wealth, and having wealth has got nothing to do with your mental state. This is the difference. Acquiring wealth, having wealth, creating wealth has got nothing to do with your mental state. The layperson says, if when you are not having it, you believe. When you are not having it, you genuinely believe if you have it, you will be all right. Again, when you are not having it, the human being genuinely believes if I have it, I'll be all right. Later on, he is going to describe both. If you don't have it, what are the consequences? If you have it, what are the consequences? It means having it or not having it has got no correlation to your mental state. Desires multiply. Desires multiply. The more you cater to them, the more the demand goes on increasing. Understand the difference between the desire and, to give a simple comparison, you are hungry, you eat, your senses are satisfied. You are hungry, you eat, your senses are satisfied, at least for a while. Have you ever observed that? And to get back to that, to get back to that craving and earning, etc., will take some time, and it will gradually only come. It will not descend on you all of a it will not come and descend on you all of a sudden, sweeping you away. Even the senses demands are not that limitless. Desires demand are limitless. Not only it is limitless, it does not require repetition, it requires more and more and more. Like you are hungry, you eat. After a period of time, you can eat the same thing. After a period of time, you can eat the same thing. You can have a discipline and you can be satiated. Are you able to follow? You can be satiated. The desire is insatiable. It cannot be satisfied. Also, it cannot be repetitive. The quantum has to go on. The quantum has to go on increasing. Somebody praises you today. Next day, the same price is enough for more praise. What will satisfy? The same will not satisfy. The same will not satisfy. It has to become more. It has to become more. You understand this difference, you know what they are talking about. It demands more and more and more. Desire, it is like imagine hunger. You eat and eat and eat, and more and more and more you eat, more and more and more you are getting hungry. What will you do? Again, I repeat the example. Are you able to follow? You are eating and eating, you are consuming and consuming and consuming. As you are consuming and consuming, the hunger goes on. The hunger goes on increasing. The hunger goes on multiplying. That is the nature of the desire. The hunger goes on increasing. It means at no point of time you will find at no point of time there is a satiation possible at all when it comes to the desires. This is called moha, delusion. This state is called moha, delusion. What is the deluded state? You eat, you are hungry, you eat. After eating, you end up becoming more hungry, more hungry, more hungry. A time will come where you could have eaten everything. What will not go away? Your hunger will not go away. Are you okay till now? Second thing is, every time the hunger is there, you believe that something more is needed to satiate. Something more is needed. Something more is needed. Something more is needed. Because your experience will tell you, if the present can satisfy, my hunger should have been satiated. Since the hunger is going on increasing, what I have is not enough. What I have is not enough. What I have is not enough. Therefore, he gave a beautiful advice. Whatever you get as the result of your actions, be satisfied with it. A beautiful advice he gave. In the verse he gave, second verse he gave. And just now we finished verse number 3. We didn't even go to verse number 4. So in verse number 2, he gave a beautiful advice. Be satisfied with whatsoever the result of your action is. Why? Because more and more and more you contact, your emptiness goes on increasing. Meaning, you do not know how to satiate your hunger. It means you are hungry, you are eating, and you are getting more hungry. It means what? What does it mean now? What does it mean? You have not understood what is your hunger and what can satisfy your hunger. You have not understood. Are you okay till now? It means what? You have not understood what is it that you are hungry about? What is your hunger? And what can satisfy your hunger? You don't have this clarity. A person who doesn't have this clarity, what will he do? He goes on, he leaves the control of the mental state on the desires. The control of he leaves the control to the desires. The moment you leave your control to your desires, what happens? A temporary satisfaction, a apparent immediate satisfaction deludes you into believing that more if you have it, more you'll be happy. You get it, you get a delusory happiness, you get a delusory satisfaction, you get an illusory satisfaction. Because of that delusory satisfaction, you lead yourself into believing what? You lead yourself into believing. What is the belief that you lead yourself into? More if you get it, more you can be happy. More if you get it, more you can be happy. By this method, what happens? By this method of trying to chase the desires, chase the wealth, a game of restlessness, a game of perpetual sorrow, a game of restlessness. In between this restlessness, etc., and all that, a drop of honey here, a drop of honey there, and that gives you a tremendous satisfaction. See, yesterday, I'll show you that. A crocodile, my friend sent me one video. A monkey was caught in the mouth of the crocodile. Monkey is caught in the mouth of the crocodile. And it can't come out of the mouth. And it is just why the crocodile is waiting to swallow that, God only knows. At that point of time, there are some, that the nice bamboo shoots which the monkeys like. It is caught in the mouth of the crocodile, and there is the very nice, soft, tender bamboo shoot, and the monkey is devouring that. Can you imagine that? Caught in the mouth of. See, what is the hope of that monkey now? Even at that point of time, what is it eating for? To get more traumatized, to get more pain. It doesn't understand the situation only, isn't it? It doesn't understand what is the situation. Now that I am in the mouth of the crocodile, it has not yet swallowed me. Therefore, what happens? Somewhere the monkey is, somewhere the crocodile will open the mouth, and I will jump out. And when I jump out, I have to be energetic, alert, and alive. Therefore, eat bamboo shoots when you are caught inside the mouth of the crocodile. Because we think these kind of examples and all stories. No, people do it can't happen in reality. And when I saw this, I thought, oh my God, I should save it somewhere. I should save it somewhere. Just to, it's like, I don't know how many times I watched that yesterday. Again, I know, after a while only I realized I don't have to make an effort at all. It keeps replaying itself. I didn't even know that it keeps replaying itself. I thought it will stop, and I'm trying to go back and it starts. Then I realized you just have to keep watching it. It goes again and back. Oh my God. That that state is called moha. What is moha? It's there. It's not even the crocodile is not even attempting to catch it and all. It's already inside the mouth. Isn't it? Verse number 2, he said, it is foolish to chase the possessions. It is foolish to chase the possessions. The quality of life has got nothing to do with the possessions, meaning your mental state and what you have or what you don't have no correlation. This is verse number 2. Verse number 3. I don't even want to talk about verse number 3 now, isn't it? Narayanji scolded me last week itself in the class. You are criminalizing it. Therefore, how can you? So I'll move from verse number 3 to verse number 4 directly. But again, you can't. Shankara will get angry. So between the anger of Narayanji and Shankaracharya, I can't handle Shankara's anger. Therefore, Narayanji will summarize verse number 3 also. Verse number 3 also we will summarize. The Trishna itself, the Vega itself is because of the attraction, and this attraction is futile. Attraction is futile because attraction is self-destruction. Anything that you get attracted to, remember, you are only destroying yourself. But sir, if I get attracted to Vedanta, I'll say, I'm also looking for a person who will get attracted to Vedanta, actually speaking. Supposing if I get attracted to Vedanta, what will happen? First, let us get attracted and then we'll see. For the attraction is always destructive. What is attraction? Remember that Viveka Chudamani example. Each and every species have weakness for one sense and they get attracted and it is destroyed. Because of one weakness, destruction happens. And if a human being has weakness for all the 5 senses, what happens? You get the destruction is more. It means you have to understand certain truths about life. Maturity is the courage to accept the truth as the truth. Instead of brushing it aside, instead of putting it inside the carpet, you try to understand the truth as maturity is strength is to accept the fact as fact. That's called human maturity. What is the human maturity? Anything that you are attracted to, use Pratipaksha Bhavana. That's what verse number 3 is. Anything that you are attracted to, use Pratipaksha Bhavana. Attraction means what? Attraction means a conviction that without it, you cannot live. Without it, you cannot live, and you will be prepared to do anything and everything to get it. This is called attraction. Again, I repeat, attraction means you are so convinced that without it, you cannot live without it. Because you are so convinced that you cannot live without it, what will the mind do? Drive you to do anything and everything to get it. In that bargain that you are doing anything and everything to get it, you create your own karmas. You are creating your own karmas. You are creating your own consequences. And when the consequences come to you, you turn back and ask, life is unfair. Life is unfair. He says, God says, life is not unfair. Your demands are unfair. That's all. Your demands are unfair. What is Pratipaksha Bhavana? Anything that you are attracted to, learn to see it rightly, wholly, fully. Attraction, because you are only seeing a part as a whole. Again, I repeat, you get attracted to anything only when you see a part as the whole. Pratipaksha Bhavana is nothing but explaining to you, see the whole picture, and then see if you are still attracted, go for it. But before chasing it, don't make the mistake of taking a part as the whole. Pratipaksha Bhavana comes and tells you, see it from, there is an angle, there is something in it which you will not be definitely attracted to. See that also. See that also. In anything that you are getting attracted to, there will be something in it which you will hate. There will be something in it which you can't stand. There will be something in it. Know that also. Why? Because we have seen this already in the past. Everything comes to you as a package. Package means something is acceptable, something is non-acceptable. And remember, the non-acceptable will be more than the acceptable. The non-acceptable will be more than the acceptable. But because you are so conditioned to see the part as the whole, and you have already decided that you cannot live without it, anybody coming and telling you the Pratipaksha Bhavana, you will say, I'm okay with all this, sir. I think I can handle it. The moment anybody says, I know I can handle this, instantly I say, Narayana, please say. So, because they cannot, because if they actually know it, they know that they will not be able to handle it. If they are saying they can handle it, means they don't know it. That is Pratipaksha. That is Pratipaksha Bhavana. That is called Pratipaksha. In order to give an example of Pratipaksha Bhavana, he said, Etan mam savasadi vikaram manasi vichintaya varam varam. Reflect on these truths of life again and again and again. Constantly keep remembering this. Constantly keep understanding this. What? In anything that you are attracted to, there is a part in everything that you will not, that you will not, that you will not be attracted. It means that which you are attracted to at one point of time in life, that which you are ready to do to get it at one point of time in life, later on you'll be ready to do, later on you'll be ready to do anything to get rid of it. It's very, very interesting. The same person. And on both the times they are very clear, thinking that they know what they are doing. When they are desperate to get it, they think they know what they are doing. And when they are getting rid of it also, they think, okay, Pratipaksha Bhavana comes and tells you what? Before you, before you get into anything, see it. Before you are attracted, the moment you get attracted to anything, Kurmongani Vasarvashaha, Bhagavad Gita. He says, Siddha Prajna, he says. The moment, who's a Siddha Prajna, a wise person? Like the Kurma, like the tortoise, he says. Any attraction, anything that there's an attraction, he quickly withdraws and do Pratipaksha Bhavana. Not simply withdrawing. See, if you simply withdraw, that is suppression. It's not just withdrawal. That quick withdrawal and doing Pratipaksha Bhavana. What happens? The madness reduces, that's all. Once the madness is reduced, then you choose whether you want it or not. Actually speaking, once the madness reduces, you will say, I can be very peaceful and happy without it also. This is called Vairagya. Are you able to follow? Once there's an attraction, you withdraw and do this Pratipaksha Bhavana, you gain a maturity. What is that maturity? I need not be dependent on this for my mental state. In order to do the Pratipaksha Bhavana, he said, understand it rightly. And what is the right understanding? The right understanding is, that's why we always say, when you are very, very attracted to something, we say, don't rush into making a choice. Wait. Okay, sir, 5 minutes I can wait. 5 minutes I can wait. 15 minutes I can wait. 1 hour I can wait. Beyond that, you will not wait. Beyond that, you will not. Why? Because you are carried away by the force of the attraction. Therefore, he says, Naristanabharanabhidesham drishtva maha moha vesham etan mam savasadi vikaram manasi vichintaya varam varam. Drishtva. The sight of it is enough. The sight of it is enough. If it is not there, you will imagine it being there and you will get attracted. Again, either it has to be there in front of you. If it is not there in front of you, what will you do? Will you see what is there in front of you? You will not. What the mind will do? It will start imagining that. It will start imagining as though it has it and start to derive joy from that imaginary relationship, imaginary existence. Are you able to follow? How to break this habit of the mind? How to break this habit of the mind? Pratipaksha Bhavana is required. This is verse number 3. Yes. I said, you don't know what is the hunger and what can satisfy the hunger. I made a statement in the beginning of the session. I said, you don't know what is your hunger, and you also don't know what can satisfy the hunger. The question is, what is the hunger and what can satisfy the hunger? What is the hunger? The hunger is for infinite. You are wanting infinite. You are seeking that which is limitless, that which is boundaryless. Because you are seeking that which is limitless and boundaryless, anything that has a limit and a boundary cannot satisfy that. That's all. Again, I repeat, you are seeking that which is limitless. You are seeking that which has no boundary. It should not be limited. It should be unlimited. That is your hunger. Having understood this is your hunger, then you will understand what you are taking in is that which is intrinsically limited and that which is intrinsically has a boundary. Can both match? It doesn't match. Again and again and again, you have to reflect on this. Again and again and again, you have to reflect on this. What is it that you are seeking? That's why I keep repeating this analysis any number of times. Of the 10 things that you want in life, 6, 7 you have. 1 or 2 only you don't have. It's not that you want 10 things in life and you don't have any of that. Do you understand that? Divine doesn't make us like that. Of the 10 things that we want, 7, 8 we always have. That 1 or 2 not being there overshadows the presence of the 8. Are you okay till now? Even if you are assuming that of that 10 you have 7, 8, you should be 70, 80% satisfied in life. That one thing can upset you so much that it can wipe away. It can wipe away everything. Hmm? It means you are not really understanding what is it that is happening inside of you. Are you able to follow? That one thing not being there. The boy says, nobody loves me, sir. Is it true? Is it true? Nobody loves me, sir. The girl comes and says, nobody loves me, sir. Is it true? It's not true. Why? Because when they say nobody loves me, that one person is not reciprocating. That one person not reciprocating wipes away everything else. Are you able to follow? What is knowledge and understanding now? With the satisfaction and contentment that I get from the 8, I look at that one. Are you able to follow? With the satisfaction that I derive from having that 8, and when I look at that one, what will be the impact of the one? What will be the impact of that one? Always manageable. It will not sweep you away completely. Are you able to follow? You are swept away completely because the hunger is not understood, and what can satisfy the hunger is also not understood. The entire scripture, all scripture's theme is that. The question is, what is hunger and what can satisfy the hunger? The theme of all scriptures that we are talking about is that. You only know that you are hungry. It is somebody else it is the Shastra, the Guru that has to come and teach you what will satiate that hunger. You know your hunger, that's all. What will satiate you, you can never know. Or you can understand that all your methods of trying to get satiated is utterly wrong till now. That much you can understand. You may not necessarily know what is the method by which it will get satiated. Are you okay now? You may not know the method, but one thing you should know already. What is that you should know already? All the methods that you have tried has not taken you anywhere near satiation, and only the intensity of the hunger is going on increasing. At least that much you can understand. And if you understand this much, you develop mumukshatva. If you understand this much, mumukshatva, are you able to follow? How to gain this maturity? How not to fall victim to this Kanchana, Kamini, etc. and all that. How to gain this maturity? To gain this maturity, certain truths of life must be boldly understood without mincing words, without trying to mince words, without trying to use words that deludes you, use words that is direct, that hits you. What is that word? What is the truth? What is that word that hits you so directly? Verse number 4, buddy. Verse number 4.
नलिनी दलगत जलमति तरलम तत्त्वजीवितमतिशय चपलम विद्धि व्याध्यभिमानग्रस्तं लोकं शोकहतं च समस्तम् नलिनी दलगत जलमति तरलं तत्त्वजीवितमतिशय चपलम् विद्धि व्याध्यभिमानग्रस्तं लोकं शोकहतं च समस्तम्.
Water on a lotus leaf is extremely unsteady. So also is life very unstable. Understand that the entire world consumed by disease and conceit is smitten with sorrow. Again, water on a lotus leaf is extremely unsteady. So also life is very unstable. Understand that the entire world consumed by disease and conceit is smitten with sorrow. The truths of life has to be stated boldly, and courage is required to accept the truth. Courage is required. And as we are today, we are very weak. We don't have the courage. That's where Vivekananda said it very beautifully. He says, 3-4 human beings with courage is enough, he said, to understand Vedanta. 3-4 human beings with backbone, he said. 3-4 human with some backbone. And we are not at all courageous. We are so cowardly in life. We are so cowardly, so cowardly. All that we know is either to get angry or to cry, that's all. Either we get angry at these kind of statements and throw it away and walk out, or start whipping oneself and crying. But one thing that we will not do is what? Accept it. What is that acceptance? Unsteady. This is the theme that recurs in all the scriptures. Agama nityaha tam titikshasva Bharata. Verse number 14, chapter 2. That Agama anityaha is given through an example here. What is the example? Droplet on the lotus leaf. A very famous Bhaja Govindam example. Water droplet on the lotus leaf. What is that droplet on the lotus leaf? Have you seen it? It's unsteady. It's unsteady. It's so beautiful. It's so unsteady that even before you can call somebody and say, see it, it's gone. It's gone. That drishtanta is given to life. That drishtanta is given to life. We make plans and plans and plans and programs as though it is going to be there. We make plans and plans and plans. The beauty here is what? Everything is flowing. Everything is changing. Trying to put up a building where it is flowing. How can you put up a building where it is flowing? Courage is required for this. Huh? How can you put up a building where it is flowing? In order to put up a building, you need something. You need something that is stable. How can you put up a building on the unstable? And we all the time try to make a building on the unstable and then keep complaining. And then keep hurrying, worrying, suffering, complaining. When you make a building on the moving water, you will repent. When you make a building on the water that is moving, you will repent. That's all. To say it in an emotional angle, I keep saying, the person loving you today need not love you. The person loving you today need not love you tomorrow. Don't go and call that person as an ungrateful person. Don't go and call the person as a cheat. Don't do all that to the other. Why? Because nothing here is permanent, stable. How many times you have changed? When you can change so many times, why the other can't change? But no, sir, I have never changed. I am the same. Then you should have been in coma, definitely, isn't it? If you are alive, only when you are in coma, yeah, you can be in intellectual coma. That is possible. And you believe that I didn't change at all, sir. I am the same person. I'm always the same person. Everything around me will change, but I don't change at all. I am always the same. Okay. If you say that, it means you have not been. It means you are not being alive at all. Why? The very nature of life is what? The very nature of instruments is what? The very nature of life is what? The nature of life, the nature of instruments is, it is moving, changing. Nothing stops here. Nobody waits for anybody. Nothing waits for anybody. Everything keeps moving. Everything is flowing. But the human mind wants to hold on to it. What is it that it want to hold on to? That which is changing. You spend so much of time and energy and effort in preventing it from changing. Again, I repeat, that which is changing, you spend so much of time and effort and preventing it from changing. And how much ever you decorate it, how much ever you cover it up, how much ever you try to keep it the same, what happens? The change has already happened. Where you are supposed to make it, this is the one of the Upanishad says this. Don't convert the night shelter into your home. Yeah, night shelter ku Tamil enna peru? What is the name of the night shelter in Tamil? Chatram, they'll say. Yeah, Chatram. Chatrate veeda convert பண்ணக்கூடாது. Don't convert Chatram, Sunil. You understand that, no? The same word in Telugu also, no? Huh? Isn't it? Night shelter, na? There's no checking in, checking out. Na. It's there. It's there everywhere. It's there. You just walk in there. Spend the night there. As soon as how much ever comfortable it is, how much ever wonderful it is, as soon as the sun rises, what you should do? What you should do? You should walk out. Isn't it? But then what happens? The night shelter, you convert it into, the night shelters is converted into the permanent house. If you made it your home, you will be unhappy. If you make it your home, you will unhappy. So people ask, why am I unhappy? Why am I in pain? Why am I in sorrow? Feel like saying the right answer, but you can't say because they're already in sorrow. At that time, you can only give solace. When a person is really in pain, solace only you can give. What knowledge you can give? Or you can give, but it is of no use. So people come and ask, why am I unhappy? Why am I in pain? Why am I suffering? Because you have made your house where it cannot be made. That's why. The only reason for unhappiness is you built a house where it cannot be. Unhappiness is the result of being associated with the temporary. The law. Again, I repeat. The law. What is the reason for unhappiness and misery? Your association with the temporary. And any association with the temporary, the result is going to be the same. And the beauty of it is what? Why it is called moha? It's called moha because you go on deceiving yourself. You go on deceiving yourself that somehow a house can be built here. Somehow the house can be made here. Somehow it can be made. Somehow I can change it. Somehow I can change it. Sir, with love I can change the other, no, sir. With love you will be peaceful, that's all. Where it said love will change the other? People have this dramatic, I don't know what you call all this, isn't it? Uh, we live life cinematic only, we live life. We don't live life in the reality at all. That's why I know it can't be, can't we change people through love? If you really love, you live, you will just move away, that's all, isn't it? If you really love, you will not want to go and be a burden. That's it. What else can you do? Are you able to follow? But the human being doesn't understand this. What is it that they don't understand? Nalini dalagata jalamati taralam. Very beautiful verse. Ever unstable. In this limited, unstable life, what is it that it is? What is it that is consumed by abhimanam grastam? Vyadi abhimanam. Vyadi means disease. See, life is unstable. And what are the two things that you are attached to? Your body and your mind. In relation to the body, vyadi. In relation to the mind, ego. That's all. And both are bound to suffer. Are you able to follow now? Life is unstable. Everything is unstable. What are the two things that you are attached to? What are the two things that you are attached to? The two things that you are attached to, one is your body. Another is your mind, ego. Either we are body worshippers or ego worshippers. Either we are slave to the body or we are slave to the ego. Are you able to follow? Again, I repeat. Either you worship your body or you worship your ego. Nevertheless, you are body worshippers and ego worshippers. That's what he calls it as. This vyadi and abhimana, what does it do to you? Shokahatam cha samastam. Everybody is affected. What are the two things? Physical pain or mental pain. That's all. Vyadi is an example of physical pain. Shoka is an example of mental pain. And what is the reason for this pain? What is the reason for this pain? Not willing to accept the fact. What is the fact? What is the fact? In relation to the body, it is vyadi. In relation to the ego, it is banking on something, investing where nothing is there. You put all your investments where there is nothing. What will be the result of it? The result of it is this. Lokam shokaha tamcha samastam. In Vairagya Shatakam, Bhartrihari, another great saint, there are beautiful hymns. One of that is Vairagya Shatakam. He says, imagine you have 100 years life. That 50 years will be gone in sleeping. You know that? You have 100 years, 50 years of that life is gone in sleeping. Why? Because the first few years of your life, you are spent the whole day in sleeping. The last 2-3 decades also, you will spend the life in sleeping. So overall, if you put on an average, if you lived 100 years, 50 years will go in sleeping. Another 12 and a half years. Too young to do anything, sir. Too young to do anything. Another 12 and a half years. Another 12 and a half years. Too old to do anything. Too young to do anything, too old to do anything. So, of the 100 years, how many years are already gone? 75 is gone already. 75 is gone already. It's okay, sir. Another lifetime is there. No, we will see. Why are you getting too excited about it? We are not, we are not excited. We are not suffering. Why are you getting unnecessarily excited about these things? Another 12 and a half years, we'll go in babysitting somebody else. Another 12 and a half years, we'll go in babysitting. And another 12 and a half years is what you actually have to do something to yourself. That's where you have to get educated, you have to go, you have to chase the world, you have to create the wealth, you have to do this, you have to do that, and all this will take a toll on you. And then when you sit back, you will ask, what did I do with my life at the time where nothing can be done, isn't it? I still remember. And after that, so many people have told this, it has become like the routine thing, but that, no. When I was living in Mysore, one day we were having lunch at that lunch in his house. He's telling me, in 70 years, what have I achieved, sir? He asked me, in 70 years, what have I achieved? I said, you tell me, how do I know what you have achieved? You tell me what you have achieved. Okay? It means that man in depression today. You would have gone to the doctor that day. The doctor would have told him something. He's sitting in depression, very philosophical. After 2 minutes, everything will, one phone call is enough. One breaking news is enough. One phone call is enough. Everything will get wiped out. And I'm also praying some phone call should come to that man now, isn't it? Then I will eat in peace. Otherwise, I'm also getting into the same depression now with him, isn't it? What have I achieved, sir? I said, what happened? I said, Rao, what happened? He went to the doctor and the doctor gave a menu. What that person should eat from now on. That's all. He gave a menu. Morning, grass juice. Because he's a holistic doctor. The holistic doctor doesn't know anything in any subject, isn't it? Yeah. Quacks there, isn't it? But everybody goes to them only nowadays. Now, what do we do? Because they are holistic, they take care of everything. I don't know what to say that taking care of everything means, but morning juice, morning grass juice, no tea, no coffee, grass juice. And everything has to be taken on empty stomach only, isn't it? How many times the stomach will get empty? The stomach gets empty only once in a day in the morning. How much can you put in that empty stomach now? Because, and they say, you go to the doctor and say, take this in the first thing in the morning. You go to the next doctor also says, take this first thing in the morning. You feel like having, I need to have 4 or 5 stomachs. No, then only you can put everything. Grass juice in the morning. Okay. Breakfast. 2 idli, 1 dosa, 25 grams of coconut chutney, or one bowl of 1 katori of sambar, but without tur dal in it. Now, how can you make a sambar without tur dal? Because tur dal, it seems tur dal has all the problems. So, dal. Okay, you have that also. 11 o'clock, buttermilk, isn't it? Buttermilk. Remember, no salt. No salt. Lunch, therefore, lunch. One katori rice, that also not white rice, that also has to be brown rice. Millets is best. Where to go for all the, where to go and search for all this now, isn't it? All looks the same. We don't even know the difference between millets. Everything is good. Evening, indulgence time. Evening is that time for indulgence. What is indulgence now? 1 cup of tea or coffee with 2 Mari biscuits. That is indulgence time. Evening. But dinner, at least you can have some paneer, something, no dinner, fast. Because you are not supposed to eat anything after 6 o'clock, it seems. All eating should have been done before 6 o'clock. Now, when can you, when you're in the traffic jam, what can you eat at 6 o'clock? Isn't it? So by 6 o'clock, then it means what? Even a beggar on the road gets more than all this, isn't it? Or to have this, he's asking me, what have I achieved? Vyadi, that's all you have achieved. What have you achieved? Vyadi, you have achieved. And what did you achieve? Abhimana, ego. Body worshipping and ego worship. When you worship your body, changes in the body will devastate you. When you worship the ego, again it will devastate you. That's what he said. Are you able to follow? Nalini dalagata jalamati taralam. For which he is giving an example. What is the example? In this preoccupation, don't forget Bhartrhari now. Vairagya Shatakam. 50 years is gone, 12.5 years is gone, 12.5 years is gone, and 12.5 years is actually, you have only productive 12.5 years in life now. In that 12.5 years of life, sir, Vedanta Allah pesi, don't destroy us. Because we only have, later on, he's going to expand all this. In fact, the proper Bhaja Govindam starts from here only. Or the crux of Bhaja Govindam is here, and later on he's only going to keep expanding all these things. This loka hatam cha samastam, you have no time for it. Later on he's going to say, Balastavat krida saktaha, tarunastavat taruni saktaha, vruddhastavat chinta saktaha, parame brahmani, opina saktaha. Where do you have time for? Where do you have time for the reality? When you are caught up in, when you are trying to build, you are so preoccupied in building homes on the water. When you are so preoccupied building homes on the water, where will you have time for the reality? Therefore, this jivitam, this life is what? What is the nature of this life? Very unstable. See, very unstable doesn't mean he's saying anytime you will die. If you can conceive that, oh my God, you have become really wise. If you can conceive, but you can't conceive that. At least accept life means change. Life means change. Change means pleasant, unpleasant. But we all accept a change that is only going to be pleasant and pleasant and pleasant. Isn't it? That change is acceptable. What is the change that is acceptable? If I had made 1 million profit this year, 2 million change in profit next year is acceptable. Correct? What will not be acceptable? What change is not acceptable? Loss as a change is not acceptable. But nevertheless, one thing, what life never comes and asks you. What it will not ask you? What it will not ask you? It will not consult you for anything. Your life is, you are not consulted. It happens by itself, isn't it? Your life, you are not, and you think everything is under your everything I plan, everything I well taken care of, isn't it? Remember this in all the in all the discourses. Swamiji keeps on saying, well settled, what? Trying to build a house on the water. You are saying, well, right? Well settled. Anything from anywhere gives you this message of life is unstable. If only you are alert. That's where Ramatirtha says, Vedanta is found in the murmured in the leaves. It's in the brooks. It's there everywhere, he says. It's not in a classroom. If you are alert, you can see it everywhere. What is it that you can see everywhere? How life is? How life is changing. That change is called unstable because you are trying to make something stable on a foundation that is unstable. You are trying to make something that is stable, isn't it? Even for the building, you do soil test, isn't it? For your life, you don't do soil test. For cement and steel, you do soil test, correct? You do that, no? Before you put up a building, first thing you will ask is what? That much sense you have there, but regarding your life, we don't have it. What is the first thing we do before you put up a building? Will it stand here? Somebody has to certify and say it will stand. Then you will put up, isn't it? Vijayarangan, correct? Our consultant. Where do you do the soil test to your life? Asking who's going to give the stability? Who's going to give you the certificate of stability to your life? That you are on a solid ground now, built. Who's going to give you that? You give it to yourself. That is moha. You give it to yourself. On what basis you give it to yourself? Because of your desires. Depending on your desires and attachments and the body and the ego and the mind, you go on certifying to yourself that it is going to be stable. It's going to be stable. Or you make so much of effort to keep it stable. And the very effort, the time and effort and energy that you spend to keep it stable, and then realizing that from the beginning it wasn't stable at all, you get devastated. You get utterly disappointed. You get utterly devastated. You come back. And never ask one question. What is that one question? Can house be built on? Can a house be built on water? நைட் ஷெல்டரை வீடா கன்வெர்ட் பண்ணணுமா? நைட் ஷெல்டரை வீடா கன்வெர்ட் பண்ண முடியுமா? Can you convert night shelter into a permanent house? Chatramnale, what does it mean? Chatramnale, what does it mean? Before you check in, the checkout time is told to you, isn't it? Correct? You have not even checked in. At the time only, you are told very clearly. What is it that you are told very clearly? What time you have to get out. That clarity in life is very important. Alini dalagata jalamati taralam. It means what? Even before you get in, you know the time to get out is. Even before you get in, you know the time to get out is fixed. That's why we divide life into ashramas, saying that you get in only to, you get in at some point of time, you have to get out. Grihastha ashrama you get in only to, only to get out at some point of time into vanaprastha ashrama. Vanaprastha ashrama you get in only to get out. But you don't get in and get out at the same level. That's not getting and get, that is stuck. Are you able to understand the difference? Nowadays, we also walk out, sir. You walk out from one chatra and get into another chatram. Attempt is the same. The foolishness is the same. Nothing has changed. Are you able to follow? But here, you get into Grihastha Ashrama, you get out of the Grihastha Ashrama into the higher plane, Vanaprastha. You get into Vanaprastha Ashrama, you get out of Vanaprastha Ashrama into the higher plane, Sannyasa Ashrama. You get into Sannyasa Ashrama and get out of Sannyasa Ashrama into Moksha. Nalini Dalagata Jalamati Taralam. But what we don't understand about life is what? Like Abhimanyu Chakravyuha, we know how to get in and acquire more and more and more. Never we can get out. And what is the technique? What is the method of getting out? That's why we say what you cherish and value, if you can let go. That's where dhanam, charity, and all becomes a very good discipline to let go. You know how much you know how much you are holding on to it only when you actually, let go. And you find right through, it's always about giving, giving, giving. But sir, giving as an attitude, I have a lot, but actual giving, என்ன பண்ண சொல்லாதீங்க. Are you able to follow? Sunil. Giving as an attitude, charity as an attitude, I have a lot, sir. But actual charity and all, don't ask me. Why? Because deep down, attachment is there. Are you able to follow? So what is the method to know? What is the method to know that you are building what in English language they say castles in the air. Huh? Upanishad give the example of building in the castles in the Upanishad says building houses on the water. The English language they say castles in the air. Castles in the air means it's not there, but you believe it can be, made. In that attempt, in that constant attempt, what happens? You have no time or energy left with for pursuing the reality. Or whenever somebody comes to the higher, they don't actually come to the higher. They only want to take a temporary break, gather more energy, and go back into the same cycle again. Are you able to follow? Even if you come out, actually you don't come out. You are so tired of it, you just want to refresh yourself and go back and go back and do the same thing. Nalini dalagata jalamatitarano tatvajivitamatishaya vidhi vyadhi abhimana. The two problems is what? The two problems of life is body worshipping and ego worshipping. Because of you worshipping the body, a small changes in the body here and there upsets you so much. A small thing in the body here and there. Body means vyadi. That's all. Vyadi means, see, something in the body is constantly deteriorating. That's what body means. Something in it is constantly deteriorating, wear and tear. That's all. It will keep deteriorating. And when the deterioration happens, you are not unduly worried or concerned. But if you are a body worshipper, you will be so concerned about it. A small wrinkle here, a small wrinkle there is enough to make you have sleepless nights, isn't it? Is enough to make you have sleepless. If body worshipping can cause you trauma, ego worshipping causes you, I don't know, whatever is better word than trauma. Is there a word higher than trauma? If there is that word, that is what happens when you are an ego worshipper. To understand both, you need an example. What is that? Water drop playing on lotus petal. It is a water drop playing on the lotus petal. Playing means what? It's moving this side, it's moving that side. It's so constantly dancing, so fragile. A small wind can blow it away. Even when it is there, it's never steady. Are you able to follow the two comparisons? Even when it is there, it is not steady. A small wind can blow it away. Atitaralam. Atitaralam means uncertain existence. Uncertain existence means the direction is not known at all. Tatvat jivitam. Tatvat jivitam means know that life is like that. Know that life is like that. Vyadi abhimana grastam lokam shokahatam. This lokam means all human beings. All human beings are disturbed. What is the disturbance? Cough, cold, fever, cancer. I don't know what. I'm not saying anything. New corona also is coming in now, sir. As the existing corona is not enough, a new corona is coming in. Something has to keep coming. No. Something has to keep coming. Where is the problem? Abhimana, mental hurt. Mental hurt. Physical ailment can cause agony, mental ailment. What is physical thing? You have a weird notion of beauty. That's why abhimanam to the body. Weird notion of beauty. See, for which he gave an example. That's all. People get very upset with the example that he gives. A doctor, he wasn't, he was really in pain, Swamiji now in pain, etc. A doctor came to see him, and the doctor had what they have that, what do you call that? Vijayarangan, what do you call that? Something. Goatee, French beard, I don't know, whatever it is, isn't it? He looked at the doctor and said, what makes you to think you look beautiful in this? Doctor said, I have come to treat you, not to hear a discourse from you. See, the question is, you have a weird notion of abhimanam to the body. See, what he is trying to teach is not that you have it, you don't have it. What difference does it make? But you have a weird notion of beauty and you are so affected by that notion of beauty. That's what is called worshipping. The body worshipping means that. Are you able to understand what is body worshipping? Body worshipping means you have a weird notion of beauty and you are so caught up in that weird notion of beauty. A child or a drunken person making a remark is enough to upset you, isn't it? A drunken person saying, I don't like your face is enough to upset you, isn't it? A blind person saying you don't look beautiful is enough to have sleepless nights, correct? So, blind person is saying you don't look beautiful. Now, what you should do? Oh, why that person said, but that person is blind. No, sir. Even if the blind person can see that I'm ugly, is it? What can you do? Purida. That's all it is, isn't it? Wise man, Purida. That person said, you are ugly. I'm saying that person is a blind at birth. Blind at birth. Oh, really? Even a blind person can see that I'm ugly. It means I'm really ugly. Now, what can you do to that person? What can you do to this person? Yama will have to make few more frequent visits to that person. Then only they will wake up. Isn't it? Frequent visits by Lord Yama will wake that person up. That is as far as Vyadi, body. Ego, oh my God, I don't know where to start and where to end about this ego thing, isn't it? That ego worshipping. But nevertheless, how to overcome these two, how not to be a victim of these two, how not to be affected by these two, you understand the truth. What is the truth? Life is ever changing, moving, unstable, and thank God that it is unstable. Thank God that it is moving. Thank God that you are getting old. See, thank God you are getting old. Otherwise, you will be still that. See, thank God you are getting old. Otherwise, you will be still that few inches body. Imagine that you are permanently stuck in that few inches body as soon as you are born. Will you want to be like that? Thank God you are growing old, no? Correct? It means if it starts there, where it will end? Up to 2021, it should come, and then I should never ever get old after that. Huh? Or at least up to 16, I can come, and then I should stay put at there only. Yeah. Goes. Thank God you are getting, thank God that it is changing. Thank God that you are getting old. This is knowledge, and this is the courage with which you accept the fact. This is the courage with which you accept the fact. What is the fact? Life is extremely unstable, uncertain. Life is extremely uncertain. Understanding this, you need not get scared. Understanding this, you need not get worried. Understanding this, you know how to deal with it rightly. When you understand this rightly, you will deal with it rightly. This is verse number 4. With this, we conclude for Bhaja Govindam is more depressing textbook. More and more, when he goes on, when he goes into the middle of the text and all, you feel like quitting the classes only, isn't it? He'll say, okay, எப்போ Bhaja Govindam session முடியறதுன்னு குரூப்ல மெசேஜ் போட்டுருங்க சார். We will rejoin later. Sunil, don't do that. Huh? నలినీదలగత జలమతి తరళం తత్వజ్జీవితమతిశయ చపలం విద్ధి వ్యాధ్యభిమానగ్రస్తం లోకం శోకహతం చ సమస్తం. Remember this again and again. Varam varam. Remember this again and again and again. And how to remember this again and again and again? Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Budhamate. How to remember this? Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Budhamate. Samprapte sannihite kale, nahi nahi rakshati dukran karne. With this, we conclude for today. We continue next week.